Yeah, they were painful right now. Not yet. Thanks.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. So glad you're joining us this evening. We're going to begin with Hine Matzo on the top of 120. Hine Matzo Lumano. We're going to continue together with Lachado D on 138 and 139. We welcome the Sabbath bride. Licha, licha, dodi, likrat, kala, pane, Shabbat, nikabela. Licha, licha, dodi, likrat, kala, pane, Shabbat, nikabela. Shemor v'zachor beri borechad. Ishmianu el haminu chad Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Hashem el tiferet veliti la 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 lechadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat l'chuvanecha, ki himakor ha-beracha, merosh mikadem nesucha. Sufma aseh b'ma Shabbat la 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 lechadodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi, likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nikabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, Hivore, Uri, Shir Daveri. Kavod Adonai like Nikla la 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 lechadodi. Likrat kala. Pene Shabbat nikabela. Lechadodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nikabela. We rise as we welcome the Sabbath bride in body or spirit for verse 9 as we face the entrance. Bo'i v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola. Toch emunei am segula, bo'i chala. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. We turn the page 140 from Mizmor Shir, Psalm 92, our psalm for Shabbat. Mizmor Shir liyom ha-Shabbat, tov lehodot la-Adonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, elyon. Lehagid baboger chasdecha, ve'emunat balelo. Ale yasur ve'ale navel, ale higayon bechinot. Mizmor Shir liyom ha-Shabbat, tov lehodot la-Adonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon. Yisamachani Adonai b'fo'olecha, b'ma'aseh yadecha araneh. Magadlu ma'asecha Adonai me'od am u'machshevotecha. Mizmor Shir liyom ha-Shabbat, tov lehodot la-Adonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon. Psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. With a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together, you have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your design. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. The righteous bloom like a date palm, they thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no wrong. Turn the page to 142 as we welcome the angels with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malechei Hashaveh, Malechei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malechei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem l'shalom, Malechei Hashalom, Malechei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malechei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malechei Hashalom, Malechei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malechei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malechei Hashalom, Malechei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malechei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, unripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Let my day be today as the one before. Let less routine, set my ways. Turn the page to the Chatzi Kaddish in 144. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach yutei v'yamlech malchutei, Becha yechonu v'yomechon u'chayei b'chol beit Yisrael. Bagala u'bizman karev v'meru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'me'omaya. Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei d'kedusha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, tamiran be'alma. V'meru amen. We turn the page, as we turn the page, we rise in body or spirit, the Baruch, our official call to worship. We start with these words, am I awake? As a kavanah, as an intention of our prayers that follow. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Do you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yalla la la la, 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 yalla la la la. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. Yadadai-dai-dai, 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 yadadai-dai-dai. Continue together in the middle of 149. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. The top of 151. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Turn the page. We join together in Shema, the watchword of our faith. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. Continue with Ve'ahavta in 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta baham v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uv'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'b'sharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'hiyot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem Emes. We turn together to the top of 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. And we metaphorically march together on the following page as we sing our Song of the Sea, Mi Chamocha, top of 158. Yai lai lai yai lai la 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 yai lai 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 ya la 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 yai lai lai ya lai la 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 yai lai 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 ya la 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 mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha neder b'kodesh Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele. Mahutecha ra'u banecha, Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze Elianu ve'amru, Ze Elianu ve'amru. Adonai yimloch Leolam va'ed, Adonai yimloch Leolam va'ed. Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. And we move from our song of redemption, our song of the sea, to our prayer Hashkivenu. Words are up on the screen, which is a prayer of safety and sanctuary in the night. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we make with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Turn to the top of 162 for Vishamru, our celebration of Shabbat. Words from Exodus. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, בני Yisrael, Oti Leolam Vishamru, Bene Yisrael, Et HaShabbat, Lahasot Et HaShabbat, Lidorotam Berit Olam. Ki Sheshet Yamim, Asa Adonai, Et HaShamayim V'et Haaretz V'shamru, V'nei Yisrael, Et HaShabbat, Lahasot Et HaShabbat, Lidorotam Berit Olam. Uvayom Hashvi, Shabbat Vayinafash, Shabbat Vayinafash, Shabbat Vayinafash, Veshamru, Bnei Yisrael, Et HaShabbat, Lahasot Et HaShabbat, Lidorotam Berit Olam. We turn to 164 for Tefillah, the Amidah, the central prayer of our worship. We rise in body or spirit. I invite everyone to take a big deep breath in and out. Try to release some of the tension of the week. We chant 164 through 170. Adonai Sifatartiktahu fi Tefilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekone Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imachot, Umevi Gula Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer El Moshe Umagin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol atah Rav LaHoshia, Mashiv HaRuach, Umorid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Baruch Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umidol Melech, Melech Memit Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lechayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom yalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. You may be seated. We continue together in the middle of 173. Disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Shock us, Adonai. Deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh haShabbat. Top 175. Ever present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion, restored in all lands. You are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'orecha levadcha, v'yirah na'avod. We pray together in the middle of 177. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? You mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, crowned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, Atov shimcha ucha na'eh lehodot. As we prepare for Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace in 178, an additional prayer of peace from Rabbi Nachman. May it be your will, Holy One, our God, our ancestors' God, that you erase war and bloodshed from the world, and in its place draw down a great and glorious peace, so that nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Rather, may all the inhabitants of the earth recognize and deeply know this great truth, that we have not come into this world for strife and division, nor for hatred and rage, nor provocation and bloodshed. We have come here only to encounter you, eternally blessed one. And so we ask your compassion upon us, raise up by us what is written. I shall place peace upon the earth, and you shall lie down safe and undisturbed. And I shall banish evil beasts from the earth, and the sword shall not pass through your land. But let justice come in waves like water, and righteousness flow like a river. For the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Holy One, as the waters cover the sea. So may it be. And we say, Amen. Join together in Shalom Rav 178. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Yatahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Yatahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Autumn of age. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hambarech et amo Yisrael. Bashalom. Take a moment for silent prayer. The words on 180 and 181 on the screen or in your heart. Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru imru amen. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. We turn together to page 371 as our thoughts turn to those in our family, in our community, in our world who are in need of healing, body, mind, or spirit. If there's someone you're thinking of, you can share the name aloud in your heart, in the chat, on our stream. Al Berman, Maurice Berman, Raji Grewal, Dennis Linderman, Jim Schicker, Allison Solomon, the Winter family, Bob, Dale, Parker, Cooper, Noah, Amanda, Phil, Gay, Steve Edwards, Linwood Jennings, Roger Hornsby, Aunt Rita, and Ron. Join together in Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah Shema. the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. What does it mean to remember, to recall, to think back on, to recollect? This week, we recognize Shabbat Zachor, the Sabbath of remembrance. This remembrance on our calendar is always the Shabbat, the Sabbath before our holiday of Purim. The custom is to read not only the week's regular parsha, or the section of Torah, which this week is the very beginning of Leviticus, Vayikra, but that we also read from Deuteronomy 25, verses 17 to 19, which describes the attack that occurred back in Exodus and Shemot by Amalek against our ancestors. Zachor et asher asa lecha Amalek, baderech b'tzeitchem mimitzrayim. Remember what Amalek did to you on your journey after you left Egypt. Asher karcha baderech v'yizanev b'cha chol hanecheshalim acharecha ve'ata ayef hayagia v'lo yarei Elohim. How, undeterred by fear of God, he surprised you on the march when you were famished and weary and cut down all the struggles in your rear, all the stragglers in your rear. V'haya b'haniach Adonai Elohecha lecha mikol oyavecha misaviv ba'aretz asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha nechala l'rishta timche et zecher Amalek mitachat hashamayim lo tishkach. Therefore, when your God Adonai grants you safety from all your enemies around you in the land that your God Adonai is giving you as a hereditary portion, you shall blot out the memory of Amalek from under the heaven. Do not forget. My colleague, Rabbi Josh Weinberg, shared on this portion this week. The Shabbat before Purim has been called Shabbat Zachor in order to remember what happened to us in our collective past. Its focus, yes, is on the atrocities committed against us by the quintessential anti-Semite Amalek, whose descendant is, of course, the villain, Haman. Despite Purim's emphasis on joy and frivolity, the Shabbat before opens on a somber note, commanding us to remember the atrocities against us from Amalek to Haman to Hitler. The message is clear. Jews are pledged to work for the end of oppression of the weak everywhere. A temporary, partial victory should not blind one to the persistence of evil in the world. Memory is a funny thing. It can be selective, repressive, motivational, and paralyzing all at once. Rabbi Irving Yitz Greenberg teaches that Zachor, remembrance, is a mitzvah, a commandment that has made modern Jews uncomfortable. The natural desire to forget and be happy collides with the ongoing pain of memory and analysis. Modern people who are future-oriented stress the need to forgive. They argue that there will be no reconciliation as long as the memories of the cruelties and atrocities of the past are perceived, and thrown in the face of those involved. Forgive and forget becomes the slogan. Yet, as Rabbi Greenberg stated, remembering is hard for us. We would rather forgive than forget. Yet we are commanded to remember the actions of Amalek. One part of us believes it would be easier to forget, to move on, to recognize that each person deserves to be judged on their actions, not the actions of their ancestors or even their family members. We are commanded to remember because we are the holders of our own history. Though the joke is old, we have all heard, they tried to kill us, we survived, let's eat. We did not tell our stories, our history, who would? As we approach our holiday of Purim and on its heels, our holiday of Passover, we know that retelling our story is essential so that each new member of our families understands what it means that we are here and able to celebrate. We also know that there are many people in the world who will celebrate under terrible circumstances. And I hope you will consider donating to organizations helping those both in Ukraine as well as those who have fled. During our Purim celebrations, we will be encouraging donations via the Jewish Federation of North America, who's working with groups on the ground, both in Ukraine and in the surrounding countries, who have opened their borders to refugees. We are also hosting a food and donation drive to Loaves and Fishes throughout the month of March. Here in Kalamazoo, as one of the mitzvot, one of the commandments of Purim is to give food to those in need. Tomorrow morning, we will join our religious school students at Congregation of Moses for services, and we'll hear this passage read by one of our religious school teachers. You're all welcome to join us at COM in person with masks or virtually on their website. Service begins at 9:30. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
We're going to turn together to the bottom of page 586. To rise in body or spirit for Aleinu. Bottom of 586 followed by the top of 588. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kue aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpechot adama. Shelo samchokenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, ve'anachnu porim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Shehunat hashamayim ve'oser haaretz, u'moshev yekaro b'shamayim ima'o, u'shchinatu zo, v'govhei meromim, u'Eloheinu einod, emet makenu et mezulato, Kakatu v'torato, v'yadata hayom v'hashevota elevavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim imam, ve'aretz mitachat Einod. Top of 591. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like river with understanding, loved each of us with the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe, the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'nemar b'haya Adonai, l'melech al kol haaretz, v'yom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. You may be seated. 593. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, the substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full, but as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen, yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. We especially remember the yahrzeits of Esther Askin, Arnold Barco, Sylvia Brown, Bessie Cohen, Dennis Dolan, Jennifer Elig, Tilly Finman, French Cell, Bunny Gaines Sumney, Meyer Gardner, Anya Sophia Goldstein, Jesse Harris, Joan Perellis Heller, Edith Yeager, Max King, Sam S. King, Natalie Lincoln, Leon Lewis, Carol Muskiel, Myron Reinheimer, Rick Rodbard, Jenny Samler-Leader, Egon Schimmel, Francis Sellen, Joan Siegel, Norman N. Smith, Betty Weintraub, Gail Wiener, Stephen Wiener. We hold in our thoughts the family of Hannah Winter. Additions, corrections? We rise in body or spirit as we turn to page 598 for the Mourner's Cottage. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, Ba'gala v'zman kari v'imru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam u'omei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, huya aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. Few announcements. Tomorrow morning, as I mentioned already, services are at COM at 9:30, both in person as well as streamed on their website. Our religious school kids are leading, the little ones are leading the morning service, and the older ones are leading the core service. Sunday morning religious school is at COM as usual. Our Purim Carnival is here at TBI. Registration is required because obviously we're inside with the weather that we're currently having, and we're limited, but we have spots for the 1:30 to 2:30 slot that we would love to have people join us for. Wednesday evening starts Purim. Our dual Megillah reading at 6 p.m. is being held at Congregation of Moses. The service that's family friendly with trivia and costume parade and all of that is going to be streamed on their website. And there's also a traditional reading in the Sofa room at the same time. And our religious school family should check their email because there's a little bit more than that on Wednesday for them. Next week, services 7 o'clock on Friday, Saturday at 10 a.m. Both are being led by Mike Tanoff, so please do see our Monday email for any details about in-person, Zoom, YouTube, all of those various options that we now have all of the time. Otherwise, keep an eye out on our newsletter and the weekly emails, because there's always things happening. And maybe as spring really comes, even more things happening. We'll see. We'll conclude together on 625 with a Don Olam. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivrach li'et nasa v'chevso kol azai melech shemo nigra ve'acharei kihlotako. Levado yimloch nora, vehu haya, vehu hoveh, vehu yiyeh betifara, vehu echad v'yein sheni. Lahamshilo lechachbira, beli reshit, beli tachlit, velo haoz v'hamisra, vehu eli, v'chai goali. B'tzur chavli beit zara, vehu nisi umanosli, menat kosi bayom ekra b'yahado avkid ruchi b'yeti shan v'yahira v'im ruchi gaviati Adonai li velo ira. Shabbat shalom, everyone. May you have a restful Shabbat and a peaceful week.
After.
I will. But Mike will be leaving next week.
Okay. We'll see if Mike Dick returns the week after Thursday.
Okay.